What's good, Wave and World? It's your boy Five Star in Vegas, broadcasting live as always from beautiful Summerlin, Nevada. And I'm here with my guys, my two co-hosts, man. One of them is the youngest kid that I ever known to run the casino on the Las Vegas Strip. That's my young brother, Cino Royale. What it do?
Wow, what's up, Five Star? What's up, Wage and World? Got my brother Spread with us, man. I got lucky last night on that under. Can't wait to get up into that.
Man, did you? And of course, we got the OG of the show. He's been with me since day one, the only Sacramento Kings fan that I know. What's good, Spread there?
Man, I'm excited for today because there's a lot of interesting positions this week. Usually I love week 2 in the NFL. I feel like the market's baked in these overreactions and it's not an edge anymore. So that's the fun thing about sports betting. You can't just use the same stuff that's worked for 20 years. Before, teams would overreact to 1-0 versus 0-1. Looking at these lines, these books have taken it into account. So we got to find some new angles to stay ahead.
Yes, indeed, we do. We're not going to stay on the pass too long. We got a really long show today, so let's get right to it. Let's hit that pass real quick and talk about that Miami game, Spread.
All right, let's dive right in. Disappointing pick for me, and I'll go ahead and take the L. Regardless of the injury, I was definitely on the wrong side. And one thing we have to look at when we're paying these quarterbacks that are not elite is how much it hurts the rest of your depth, right? And I saw, I'm loving having Christian Wilkins in Las Vegas right now, but I really felt last night they felt his loss so much as the Buffalo Bills looked great on the line of scrimmage. They dominated the line of scrimmage. We saw James Cook, and they gave Josh Allen time. And on the other side of the ball, Sean McDermott, I was a little down on his defense, but he did a great job of confusing Tua, and they couldn't get their playmakers open. He had one nice play to Waddle early, but we didn't see Tyreek Hill get involved at all. Saw a lot of Jonnu Smith, actually, but overall, it was a dominating win for the Bills, and looks like the Dolphins season is almost over. And that's why it's so crazy when we do these preseason predictions, because we know somebody's going to get knocked out. And now the Dolphins, which look like a really tough game on the schedule, might be a little bit easier for the fans of the other teams.
What you think, Cino?
Oh, my God. Tua looked at matter of fact, before we even get into that, I wish the best for Tua. I think this might be the end of Tua. If it's not the NFL, they're wrong for to continue to put him out there like that. But it was too much for him last night. His O-line couldn't help him. The Bills' defense was out of control. Those 3 interceptions, that really was the game. And every time he threw an interception, the Bills would score. So it's really not even much to talk about. Tua was just bad. The Dolphins, like Spread was saying, none of the major receivers were involved. It was just a bad game. And I thought we were dead on the under, to be honest, how they were going back and forth. I'm like, man, Tua get in this game. He keep throwing interceptions like this. And I thought Josh Allen was going to, be bad. But he wasn't. He did what he had to do, and they survived. But we came up with the win.
Yeah, I think Josh Allen played, like you said, he did what he needed to do. Remember before the season started, I was telling you guys, watch Buffalo, and that's because a lot of times when these teams go straight quarterback and kind of get rid of all the divas on the outside and all of the people who are asking for the ball, it kind of does them better as a unit. And I think the Buffalo showed you last night that they're still a really formidable team. James Cook is, evolving into his own. It's crazy. His big brother Dalvin had his run and was one of the best running backs in the league when he first hit the league for maybe the first 5-6 years. Now he's kind of waning off, and here comes little bro, and he's looking just like a little bit, faster version of his brother, and he's going to have a big season this year, I think. I mean, he can only, benefit from defenses having to always respect Josh Allen. We know Josh Allen has a huge arm, so it's really difficult to bring the safeties down when you're facing Buffalo, and I think that he's going to eat this year. As far as in Tua, man, Tua is one of my, favorite personalities in the NFL. He's a really good guy. Everyone knows he's a really kind individual. I still remember the first time I saw him play. I was betting on Alabama. No, I was betting Georgia, and he came in the game and just took the game over him. And the young boy Smith, who's now Devontae Smith, who's playing with Philadelphia. They were both freshmen, hadn't played any games that year for Alabama. Hurts had been the quarterback the whole season, and Smith hadn't played one snap. And Coach Saban threw them in like, y'all got to do something. We need a spark. And he threw them in at halftime, and they took the game over. And I remember at that time, Tua was so special. I was like, this guy's a left-handed, Russell Wilson. He was so fast, so quick, and everything. And he lost his wheels at Alabama, man. He had two really bad injuries at Alabama, and that's what changed everything. To be a special quarterback with the size that Tua is, you have to have something else that makes you special. And that's why I think Bryce Young is going to have a really hard time in this league as well. If you can't have escapability at that size, you're never going to live up to your building. Johnny Manziel. Johnny Manziel was one of the best players we've ever seen coming out of college, but his athleticism didn't translate to the NFL. The thing about Baker Mayfield, he can't scramble like he did in college, but he's such a good passer. He's a much better passer than Tua is, man. He has a much stronger arm than Tua. So I think that Tua's, we've seen his last snaps. I know they're going to try to bring him back and all that, but I think this is going to come from up high. I don't think that the NFL wants Tua out there on the field because last night I was at the Westgate over there with Jay Money and with Ski, and I told him during the game after Tua got hurt, they just lost 100,000 mothers who just said their kids not playing football because they saw that, and that's not what the NFL wants. They don't want these type of injuries in these primetime games. I think we see the last of Tua. We've seen some other quarterbacks before who had multiple concussions and they ended up ending their careers pretty quickly. It would be a good thing for Miami. Now they could get the insurance to pay for it, the contract, move on, go on and suck this year. We know Mike McDaniels can coach. He'll have a good quarterback next year. But one thing Mike McDaniel has to do, he has to find his old San Francisco 49ers self. He's getting a little too slick, a little too light in the ass right now. You have to play physical football in the NFL. Miami looked really soft last night. On third and less than twos, they can't do anything, man. They have to throw the ball. You can't be an NFL team and be a top NFL team and you can't get down and dirty. He has to go back to his roots in the 49. He needs a power back so that he can mix him up with A-Chain's speed. A-Chain is a really good player, but he's not durable enough. He's small. He's not going to be an every down back. And get back into the 49er style of playing football, man, where you're doing everything off the run. They're way too Ferrari right now. He needs to add a little bit more Ford Raptor to his game instead of being so Ferrari right now.
All right. Well, we got plenty to talk about, so let's dive into the present. And of course, we wish the best for Tua going forward. Yeah. But it's going to be tough sledding for the Miami Dolphins coming forward with Skylar Thompson at quarterback. Let's start with the present 5-star. You gave it out yesterday. Let's give a quick review if they missed it. Arizona State, they're catching 7.5. They're at K-State. Quick review on why we love that.
I think that Arizona is a really good team. I know that they lost their coach, Jed Fish, but I just really, you guys know how I feel about Fafita. You know how I feel about Tutorial McMillan. I know they're on the road. Manhattan is a really difficult place to play. I just think that Arizona will be able to hold up against the run. That's the key when you deal with Kansas State. You make Avery Johnson throw it. Do not let Giddens get busy on you running that ball. Avery Johnson on those options and RPOs, tucking and running. Make them throw it, man. If they do that, they'll be okay because we know Arizona's going to be able to score. But I gave them out yesterday. It's going to be one of those games where I got to, beat Kansas State and beat the public because the public's heavy with me on Arizona, but it's okay. I'm riding with the Wildcats. I think they're good enough to do it.
We'll find out if they really are, right? We talked about that, or I saw you talk about that on Twitter. Did you see all those different bet splits getting posted? So
yeah, man, last night on the Bills of Miami, that was horrific. Yeah. How in the world is MGM's guy reporting that the books need the Bills and saying that all the money's on Miami, and then if you go to Action Network, it's saying that all the money's on the Bills and the books need Miami? Like, they're trying to confuse us, man. It's the same like politics right now with their sports betting media coverage, man. You can't trust any of it.
So anyways, I like where we're at tonight. Let's move into Saturday. Alabama heading to Wisconsin. Wisconsin catching 16. What do you think? Is that going to be enough points there for the Badgers taking on the Crimson Tide?
I will be making a play on this, guys. It is an official play. I'm cutting the game in half. I'm going with Alabama first half -9. They had a really slow start at South Florida last week. So I think Kalen DeBoer, he's a real perfectionist, and I think he'll have those kids ready to play early. Alabama's athleticism and strength early is going to overwhelm Wisconsin. We know how Wisconsin plays defense and gets turnovers. Jalen Milroe has been careful with the ball. But we know he's not just a lights-out passer, so he has to be careful with the ball with the way that Wisconsin plays defense at Camp Randall. But I do think early that the speed and just the how big this game is, that Wisconsin will be a little bit shell shocked there, and I think it's best to get on Bama early. So I'll be on Alabama -9. Once again, I don't think that Tyler Van Dyke for Wisconsin is that good, and I think that their offense is pretty mediocre. It's amazing to me that certain universities, certain NFL teams, they change offensive coordinators, but it seems like it doesn't change anything about the team. And Wisconsin is still a very slow paced offensive team. They still run first and second down and put their quarterback in third and longs, and that's not what you want to do against Alabama.
So, your thoughts on Alabama versus Wisconsin?
Like Five Star said, Alabama, they're a different beast, and we all can agree that Jalen Milroe, he way more reliable and safer than Tyler Van Dyke. The defense over there in Alabama is shaping up, and is way dominant than Wisconsin offense is. They didn't put up much points against Western Michigan last week, but I'm with Five Star on that. Bama first half, they got to come out strong, and I was looking, Wisconsin, they haven't been a dog in a long time at home since 2005. Jesus Christ, that's crazy. So I might have to look a little bit deeper into that, but for sure, Bama first half, I'm right with that. And the way they played last week, 16 points might be a lot. I don't know.
Yeah,
in between, yeah. That's how I feel
yeah.
about
But
it.
All right,
again,
and the
I'm
great
not
thing
betting
about
these
college
games.
football, there's 100 games on the board, so no need to force anything.
Yeah.
LSU heading to South Carolina. South Carolina catching 6.5. What are you thinking about one of your guys' favorite college programs? Start with you, Five Star.
Well, the thing about this game is the books have it where when you look at it immediately, you're going to say South Carolina, like because they just won last week. I had them against Kentucky. They've had a really good record against Kentucky over the years. They've beaten them like the last 3 or 4 times. Money line was my play and the +9. And I was able to get it done just because South Carolina has a good defense, but Kentucky has a fresh new quarterbacks over there who aren't that good. Different ball game with dealing with LSU. LSU has a lot of confidence against South Carolina. Since Brian Kelly's been there the last 2 times that they played them, they've hung 45 and 52 on them. And I think that they do that again. I think that this 7 is a trap. I'll be on LSU. I feel really confident about LSU covering the 7 points. I think they win by double digits. I think Nussmeier has a big game. And I think that LSU defense gives the quarterback Sellers some real problems. Sellers is a good quarterback, man. He's going to be really good in the future, but he just doesn't have a lot of snaps. He's kind of similar to Anthony Richardson in the fact that he has all his athletic ability, all his speed. He just isn't used to reading a lot of defenses. He was efficient last week going 10 for 14 and everything like that, but I just think that LSU overwhelms him. I think it's a really big game, and I think it's bigger than any game he's played in his college career, and the lights are too bright. So give me LSU -6.5 in this one. And once again, this is just us talking this game out. It's not an official play.
So, are you going to make it official, or are you just leaning to LSU, or do you want to go the other way?
To be honest, after LSU played last week against Nichols, they wasn't convincing to me. So I'm not taking no LSU with no type of points, no money line, or nothing. I definitely lean under the like Five Star said. The defense should give them some problems, but I'm not impressed with that LSU team at all. So I don't think it'll be high scoring after what they did last week against that weak Nichols team.
Next game on the docket to discuss is the Apple Cup. Washington State taking on Washington. Washington only -4 at home. Are you surprised by that, Five Star?
No, I'm not surprised at it at all. It's a brand new regime. Washington literally got gutted last year. Like they lost everybody, man. Their whole team, they had to rebuild everything, including head coaches. Kalen DeBoer is now in Tuscaloosa, and you're dealing with now Jed Fish is running that program over there, and he has to build it up like he built up Arizona. I know that Washington is 2-0, but I'm not a fan at all of Will Rogers, who's their quarterback. I don't think he's that good. Washington State is a really scrappy team. The thing about Washington State, they have a lot of continuity. You got the same coach back and everything like that. They have a really athletic quarterback in John Mateer. He can scramble, make things happen. Most of all, they got a good defense. And, now that Washington State's the new coach that they have has been there in, I think, 2 years. The guy that came in, he ended up staying. He became the coach because the original coach didn't take the COVID vaccine. Guy that came over from Hawaii. I'm sorry, I can't think of his name right now. He came over from Hawaii. He wouldn't take the COVID shot, and they gave the job to the defensive coordinator, and he's been there since, and that's been since COVID. And he's done a really good job because their defense is always making plays. They're always turning you over. I think that Washington State can stay within the number on this game. I think they're 4 points. It's just right. I think Washington probably wins by 3 or so, but I'm going with Washington State +4 on this one.
All right, Sino, your thoughts here on the Apple Cup?
To be honest, I don't have that much input on this game. As a neutral site, something like that, I usually just roll with the favorite. Like Five Star
Right.
was saying, it's a whole new wash up over there in Washington. Losing Michael Penix and stuff like that. I feel they get it together and prove that they still that team.
That's fine. We got a lot to go through, so quick is fine with us today. I think they changed the name of this rivalry, Five Star, but to us it's the Civil War. Oregon versus Oregon State. The Beavers catching 16.5. Oregon State's always been a tough team at the line of scrimmage. Oregon's always had those high-profile skill players. How do you think this one plays out?
I told you I'm going to be fading Oregon all year. I don't know why the books are so high on Dan Lannon and Dylan Gabriel. I think they're both overrated, the coaching and the quarterback. So give me Oregon State plus 16.5 blindly. I don't know much about Oregon State this year. I know that they shut out San Diego State last week. It didn't let them score any points at home. So that's pretty good. Oregon State usually, has a really good defense, play sound ball. I know that one of the coordinators that was under the former coach who's now in Michigan State, Jonathan Smith. Jonathan Smith's assistant, I think the defensive coordinator, I believe, is now their head coach at Oregon State. So they got a solid program. They're going to always come to play when it comes to Oregon. We know Oregon is a lot faster than them, but Corvallis is a tough place to play. They're going to be fired up. Oregon State and Washington State are kind of like the forgotten programs. That's why I'm going to roll with both of them this week. I think that because they were left in the Pac-12, they're going to have a chip on their shoulder. Like everyone thinks that, we're falling off because you guys went to these new conferences and we stayed behind, but we're going to show you guys that we still can play football over here and nothing's changed. So give me Oregon State plus 16.5 on this one.
Sino, are you joining in on that?
Nope, I'm not messing with Dylan Gabriel. Nope, not messing with him at all.
All right. Let's move on to Sunday. I can't wait to hear you guys' thoughts on this one. The first one I want to talk to you about is one of your guys' favorite teams, the New Orleans Saints, a team that I really think is underrated. I understand that Derek Carr's never going to be a top 10 quarterback again, but so the way that some of these guys talk about him, like he's on like the Minshew, Watson, Daniel Jones level, is just unreal to me. I think we saw his success in that West Coast offense under John Gruden. Then he went and ran the Sean Payton offense. That didn't work for his skill set. He's back with that Kubiak tree. This offense seems to be better than him. And I think the Saints defense might be one of the most underrated units in the league. I know we don't love Dennis Allen as a head coach, but he is a great defensive coordinator. No teaser protection here by the books, as the Dallas Cowboys are currently -6. I think this is going to be a popular teaser. Look, 5 Star, do you think the Saints are going to upset the apple cart and kill everyone's teasers and money lines parlay? Or do you think they're going to cover the spread? Or do you think the Cowboys blow them out? A lot of different options here.
This is another one that have the mixed signals out when it comes to where's the money at. On covers, they have in BetMGM, they have that all the money's on the Cowboys. You go to action, all the money's all the money's on the Saints. So we get a bunch of fake news when it comes to sports betting these days. So that means you got to do football. On the football side of things, Derek Carr, I know you're a little bit higher on him than me because when you're a Raiders fan, you saw the best of him before he got hurt, because he has not been the same after that. He got hurt, and when he got hit and cried, and his lineman lost respect for him for crying after getting hit, he just hasn't been the same dude. I know he looked good last week, but he was in the comfort of the dome. Everything was going right for them. They were playing weak Carolina with a brand new coach. I don't know, man. This is Zimmer they're going against. Mike Zimmer has that Cowboys defense looking better than it did under Dan Quinn, and we know how Zimmer can coach. Zimmer's always been one of my favorite DCs in the league. So all I can say is I'm going to stay away from him because I'm a fan. So I'll be just watching, rooting for the Saints. But by the numbers, I think the Cowboys probably kick their ass, just to be honest with
Thank you.
Derek Carr is weak, bro. Derek Carr is not going to do anything against that defense, but maybe just throw the ball in the air and get it picked off.
All right. Well, we'll see if you're wrong. I was kind of leaning the other way, but I didn't get close enough to make a play. I thought the Cowboys would take money, and I was waiting to get a 7.5, and that's not going to happen. Sino, your thoughts?
Simple as this. Coming off a win, Dennis Allen ain't shit. I'm gonna say it just like that.
You want the numbers? I got them for you.
Coming off a win, he 5-18 against the spread. I've seen him do his homework. I'm already knowing, and man, The guys, people who listen to this show, Dak Prescott, this is one of his spots. And just like Five Star said,
Yeah,
night night Saints. You seen what the Saints did to Carolina last week? That's what's
yeah,
about to happen to them. So
yeah, they about to
I'm
get blew
definitely
out.
playing. I'm definitely playing Dallas -6. That's an official play.
I hate to say it, but I probably will be playing it too. I'm not
You
gonna
about to
say
beat the
anything.
shit
I'm
out of
gonna
New
keep it
Orleans.
to
Just what you
myself.
said about Derek Carr, man. Dallas defense looked phenomenal. They played
Yeah,
against a
they
good team last
defense
week.
spread.
This ain't
We
no
watch Carr every week
watch.
spread. We watch him every week. I'm
Watch.
telling
Y'all
you,
seen what they
man.
did
He's
to the
done.
Browns?
Yeah,
Watch.
All right. Well, I'm going to still root for my guy from Fresno State.
Good luck.
Sino had the number right there, though. Under Dennis Allen, the cover percentage is the worst mark in the NFL since the start of the 2022 season. Next game we have on the docket. 49ers at Vikings. Five Star, you sent me this at 6. I'm watching offshore right now. Vikings are taking money on Bookmaker right now, down to 4.5. Are you surprised that the Vikings are taking money? I mean, they beat arguably the worst team in the NFL in week 1. 49ers coming off that big win over the Jets. How do you see this one playing out?
this is my big dog special. I think that the dogs are barking in this one. I think Minnesota can win money line. It's an early start. We know that San Francisco will be traveling to a new time zone. They'll be just waking up by the time this game kick off because it starts at 12. If it was an evening game, I'd like the Niners, but would it be in the morning start? I was kind of talking this out yesterday with Hakeem and with Jay Money. I like Minnesota, man, right here in this spot. We know that Kevin O'Connell is a hell of a coach. He's going to draw it up. But most importantly for Minnesota, what I liked last week and what I saw, and I know they're not playing Daniel food stamps, but still Brian Flores has that defense playing ball. As long as he has some athletes out there, he's going to draw up the right stuff. We know what type of schematic coach he is. I really like the Vikings in this spot. I think that Flores keeps this game close. I think we see the best out of Jay Jettis. I think, Justin Jefferson tries to go crazy because it's a popular game with them playing the 49ers, easy for them to get up for. And then also, we can't forget about the quarterback for the Vikings, Sam Darnold. This is his revenge game. He gets a chance to get back at Shanahan for giving up on him and giving the squad to Brock Purdy, even though he was a number 1 pick. So I like the Vikings right here. I think the Vikings come to play. I'm going to take them with the points, and I'm going to be, with the public on this one, man. I got to take the Vikings.
Man, I think that's brave. We'll see how it turns out. Sino, are you going to join Five Star? I think I'm going to sit on the sidelines for this one.
Nah, you're not gonna sit on the sidelines. You're gonna go bet it. You got San Fran on your shirt. We know how you come in.
This is the Giants, to be fair. It's a baseball shirt.
San Fran, everything. But nah, I agree with Five Star, man. In this situation, Sam Darnold, he get to redeem himself, and a home dog right here coming off in week 2. They do good in these type of situations. So I'm with Five Star. He broke it down real well. Vikings +6. Let's go.
Hopefully you guys can still find that number because it seems like money's surging in on the Vikings. Maybe it's off that McCaffrey news, but what I saw to Jordan Mason, I don't know how much that's going to matter, and I still believe the 49ers have so much more talent on defense. We'll see, though. Short week, though. Tough travel spot. Vikings should be feeling good after that big win. Speaking of a team coming off a big win, the Chiefs, looked great in that opening week, and now they got extra west taking on their nemesis in the Cincinnati Bengals. Cincinnati Bengals have not started well, and this year is no exception. Also look like T. Higgins is going to be out. Hopefully Jamar Chase feels better because he was not enough in week 1 when the Bengals fell to the Patriots. Could be a nice spot to kind of upset the apple cart, get that bad taste out of their mouth. Five Star, this line has not moved at all week. This has been a steady 6, which makes me think that sharp money's coming in on both sides. Joe Burrow traditionally has done well against Kansas City. However, are they ready to do it yet? Usually it's later in the year when this matchup takes place.
Yeah, I just was talking about this game. Lance Zerline asked me about this game on ESPN 97.5 this morning, and we were talking about it. And you know me, I'm a big Cincinnati guy. I like them, especially in this spot against Kansas City. They looked horrible last week. Luana Mumuru, however you say his name, is the defensive coordinator forever over there at Cincinnati. He knows what he's doing against Mahomes. He's one of the first guys who figured him out and kind of slowed him down. So we know that Cincinnati's defense is going to have a great plan for them. Mike Hilton, as long as he's there, he always gives Travis Kelce some issues, and they really use him well on defense for Cincinnati. So Cincinnati should be in this game now, like John Granado was worried about, and makes sense to me. How's Joe Burrow? His hand doesn't look good. His wrist doesn't look good. He was having problems picking up bobbles, man. Like, is he trying to go out there and play even though he's hurt, or was he just making an excuse last week because they weren't playing good and was putting a little extra on it because he know the cameras? We'll see early. This game I'm gonna bet live, but just off the dome, I gotta say the Bengals. Just everything's a perfect storm for them. I mean, they lost last week, were embarrassed by the sorry Patriots. They going to Kansas City now with a lot to play for. Kansas City coming off an impressive victory against the Ravens. Everything is pointing to take the Bengals if you know the way that we bet sports. So I'll probably lean the Bengals +6 on this game. But my favorite play on this game would be anything Jamar Chase. He just was talking to reporters and he was saying that they're the team to beat in the AFC. And so he's going to have to back that up. I know they haven't paid him yet. Maybe he goes out there and shine and tries to show Mike Brown why they should pay him. But we know one thing about the Bengals. They're cheap as hell. So don't be surprised if Jamar Chase is in another jersey next season.
All right. Tino, what are your thoughts here?
That's funny. He was talking about Jamar Chase. He was saying that, he going to play a little bit harder because he need a little bit more money than Justin Jefferson. That was funny, knowing how they played on the same team and stuff like that. But to be honest, I don't know why 5-star fade Patty Mahomes. What are you doing, bro?
I'm not fading him. I'm just telling you about P. I ain't betting this game.
Oh, all right. Oh, all right. Yeah, but I feel like this. The Bengals, they're gonna be in a slump right now. They're not gonna win the game until they play the Carolina Panthers. Next week they're gonna play the Commanders. I feel that's gonna be a little build up. The two LSU quarterbacks, Jaden Daniels will get his win over Joe Burrow. They're gonna start talking about this. Burrow's kind of hurt this and that. He get his win over the Carolina Panthers, and then I think they play the Ravens the following week. He might win there, but for now, I just don't think Cincinnati is even in they're not in the talks right now. So Kansas City, all the way. That's an official play for me. Let's play that. Let's play that -6. Yeah, I like Kansas City.
I'm not playing this game either. Another one I'm sitting on the sidelines. I can make good arguments for both teams. Number one, Kansas City. I know they covered on that short spread last week, but these sixes have always been trouble for them. I know you texted me. You say they got Mahomes, right? When they always give up them late leads there. They haven't been the best against the spread, and almost reminded me of LeBron, where they always win, but they don't cover. But with the way that since
company men,
they're working.
Yeah, the company men. So that's why I'm not getting involved here. But the way Cincinnati's looking right now, if this game was in November, I would love the 6 points because it feels like the Cincinnati team takes a little while to get going. Maybe that's the way they approach preseason, or maybe that's just Burrow wants it cold. But for whatever reason, I can't get involved. I can see the good arguments on both sides. Let's go on to the next game, and good luck to you, Sino. I'll be rooting for you because I got nothing else going on. I do like this next game though. The Pittsburgh Steelers are laying 2.5 in Denver, and normally these are things I don't necessarily like. The two things I don't like: we always want Tomlin as a dog, as a favorite. He's so or a little below average. The other thing, that's a lot of travel, right? Because Pittsburgh opened up in Atlanta. And now they got to go all the way to Denver. And we know that Denver is a tough place to play in September with the extra heat and the altitude. However, the strength of my handicap is simply these young quarterbacks going against these elite defenses. If TJ Watt and Mike Tomlin were able to confuse a veteran like Kirk Cousins like that, and he couldn't find any work, I think that Bo Nix is going to have problems. And we saw a lot of times in week one, even players like Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels kind of get a little bit confused and not able to set protections. And I don't believe that Bo Nix will be able to do that either in his second week of the season. Also, offensive lineman Garrett Bowles could be out again, and going against that formidable Steelers defensive line, it feels like it's going to be too much. And we talked about it last week. I think the Steelers team, Justin Fields, fits the personality better because all they really need to do is keep these drives rolling. And with his ability to run on these they could even be like 3rd and 7, right? And he could pick it up. You watch him stay behind his blockers. He's got excellent speed, and he can also make that one read well. So it'll be interesting. Surtain on Pickens. Surtain is one of the best corners in the league. Maybe we'll see a little more Fields running. But regardless, the state of the Steelers defense, I just got to take him. I know it's tough on the road, and I know it's tough taking Tomlin as a favorite. We'd much rather have him as a dog. But I think the Steelers confuse Bo Nix and get it done. What are your thoughts, 5-star?
This is one of my biggest plays of the week. I'm actually going to give it out on the bottom parlay. Steelers money line -140 and also 2.5. Bo Nix is in trouble. I'm high on him. I think he's going to be really good. But we've seen Bo Nix when he's initially put in the fire in these different, games. In the SEC when he first came in the first game against Georgia, he's gonna shit his pants in this one because he's looking across at TJ Watt and at Cam Hayward, bro, and they are not friendly. So Patrick Queen, that still his defense is a beast, man. And I think that the Broncos are going to be in some real trouble. I know Sean Payton has the 3-0 record against Mike Tomlin over his career, and they're really good friends. So that might be some extra motivation too. I'm sure Tomlin is going to be on this guy's road all week in practice. Like, I've never beat this dude. I want to beat him. So I think the Steelers are feeling real good about themselves. Justin Fields is invigorated that locker room and that offense. I think they're going to dominate this game. I don't think it's going to be really close. I think they turn over Bo Nix early and get him really frustrated because what's going to happen, Sean Payton's smart. He's going to attempt to run the ball, and they're not going to be able to run the ball. And after they can't run the ball, they have no choice but to allow Nix to throw it. And when he's throwing against this type of zone defense, the Steelers have one of the most complex zone blitzes in the league. They started the zone blitz. So I'd be very careful if you're trying to back the Broncos on this one. This is a 10% play for me, man. I'm going to be out on the Steelers money line at minus 140. Also, the Broncos gave up 146 yards on the ground last week, 4.4 yards to carry to Seattle. I think the Steelers are able to run the ball. I think the Steelers kind of make them look like they made the Falcons look in the trenches. Give me the Steelers minus 140, and that is an official play.
Bo Nix on throws of over 10 yards, only 2 of 12 with 2 interceptions here. So he had trouble pushing down the field in week 1. I think that's going to be the same thing. What are your thoughts?
Trash, just like 5-star said. The Steelers defense is going to be a crucial factor in this game, particularly in putting the pressure on the rookie quarterback and Bo Nix. It's going to be very, very pivotal. He's not going to be able to do anything, and that's going to determine the outcome of this game. You ask me, as long as Justin Fields can manage, the defense can hold him up. He'd be fine.
All right, let's move to Sunday Night Football. 5-star, before you jumped on, Cena and I were talking. I can't believe the Bears are taking money.
Oh, Jesus.
This line was 7. Now it's -6. Chicago Bears head to Houston to take on the Texans. The Bears coming off the win where they failed to score an offensive touchdown, but they got a defensive touchdown, a special teams touchdown, and Caleb Williams was able to move them down, or at least get them in field goal range. However, he looked confused, only threw for 100 yards, and definitely had problems with some of those protection schemes. Of course, the Texans got the win. They didn't get the cover, but if you watch the game, it was never in doubt that they were going to win the game. It was the definition of a backdoor cover there. I loved what I saw from the Houston Texans. Their offensive line was able to run block for Joe Mixon. He made a lot of plays where he was not even getting touched till after he gained at least 3 yards. Nico Collins looked even better than expected. And, of course, we know the other 2 weapons with Diggs and Dell. C.J. Stroud already in midseason form. I love the Texans here. I think that, once again, we talk about the Titans defensive coordinator. He was able to confuse Caleb. DeMeco Ryans is going to do the same exact thing. I'm sure Caleb Williams will be fine. But this is a tough start for a rookie, really learning how to read these coverages, and he can't use his athleticism to get out of trouble like he did at Oklahoma and USC. I'm sure Caleb's going to end up being a great quarterback. He's not going to be a great quarterback in week 2. I took the Texans at -7, and I'm pissed because normally these line moves move in my favor. I thought it would be 7.5 by kick, and hey, it still might as the public loads up on them after the 1 o'clock window there, taking some of their winnings to put on the Texans. But right now, you can get this line at -6. It's absolutely crazy to me. Give me the Houston Texans. What are your thoughts, 5-star?
10% play. I'm on the Houston Texans, man. 10% play, -6. The Bears are the last ranked in offensive yards, last ranked in yards per play. They only had 2.9 yards per play against Tennessee last week. Last ranked in passing yards. Caleb Williams' first primetime game. As you said, DeMeco Ryans, one of the sharpest, brightest minds on defense. Good luck with that. That game's going to look just like that Miami and Buffalo game looked, where in the second half, I think that the commentators will be looking for something to speak about and talk about. They're going against the offense with the Texans, who are second in the league in yards. They had 417 yards last week, man. Number 1 in rushing. So, and they're facing the defense with the Bears, who are 22nd. They gave up 140 yards last week on the ground, man. I think that this is a dominant performance by the Texans. I don't think they leave any doubt in this one. Caleb Williams, paint your fingernails, please. I'm for my money, paint your fingernails, please, and pull up the South Side Houston on 610. encourage me, man, to come get what you're looking for with them fingernails painted, because you're gonna get exactly what you're looking for, man. We on the Texas, man, -6.
Sino, any
Official
more
play.
thoughts on the Sunday night game?
Man, in this situation, the numbers guy, I just tell you, dogs are 0-44 straight up, uh, and 10-34 against the spread. So, night night, Caleb Williams.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm sure he's going to be fine overall, but we've seen these growing pains for rookies because the schemes they face in the NFL are so much tougher, not to mention the fact that every player is so much faster. So these zones are so much more efficient. A hole or a read that would have been fine in college is no longer there. Tip pass, sometimes an interception. I know Caleb was able to avoid turnovers in week one, and boy, did they need one with the way that their offense was playing. However, I do believe the Texans are a step above, 2 steps above, maybe 3 steps above the Tennessee Titans and their struggling quarterback, Will Levis, here. So it's going to be a rude awakening for him. But fortunately, he gets back home in week 3, and we know that they're going to really support him there in Soldier Field. So Bears fans, don't think that we're down on you for all year. We're just down on you this week. Do you guys have any more games you guys want to talk about before we get to the ball and parlay?
Nah, let's do it. Let's get to this ball and parlay.
I just got to ask you guys one. I've already placed a bet, but I want to know your thoughts. I took the Seahawks -3 against the Patriots. I'm struggling with it a little bit, but boy, the way that Seahawks defense looked under Mike McDonald in the first week, I think they're going to really be able to keep the Patriots offense under wrap. And even if Kenneth Walker missed, Charbonnet is one of the best backups in the league. Hopefully Geno Smith plays a little better. I felt like he left a lot of plays on the field last week, but I think he'll continue to grow and learn under that new system. Do you guys are you guys ready to get with me on the Seahawks -3, or do you think I made a mistake there?
Go ahead, Sino.
To be honest, spread, I'm like you, Gino. I'm not impressed with what he's doing, but the defense is on both sides of the ball. Jacoby Brissett, man, he went up in Cincinnati last week and he did phenomenal. So he's due for some mistakes. In that game spread, I would lean the under. I couldn't take a side. It's still too early for me.
I'm playing Seattle. I think that was just a whole bunch of nothing last week by the Patriots. It just was a game that the book was able to take the money on. It just happened like that. We could see how the money was going, how it was running up. We knew that Cincinnati dealing with a lot of offseason noise with the Jamar Chase situation. Nobody paying attention to the Patriots. You best believe Mike McDonald, an ex-Ravens assistant, is going to be paying attention to him. I think that Seattle beats their ass, honestly.
Jesus Christ.
All right, yeah, let's hope Gino gets back and maybe he can get DK involved this week because it kind of a slow opening week for him. Tyler Lockett, though, finding the fountain of youth, best player on offense for the team besides Kenneth Walker. Let's move to the ball and parlay. What do you got for us, 5-star?
Well, you guys already have the play that I gave out yesterday, which is Arizona. Well, pardon me, on last show on Wednesday, and that was going to be Arizona +7.5 at Kansas State. Still on it. We're going to still play that. Also, I'm going to play the Steelers at -140. That's an official play for me. And then I have one more official play, and it's going to be UNLV tonight +9. It's running up, and I love it. I think that the running Rebels are really being disrespected by the books right now. Kansas is a good team, but they're not that good to, be a double-digit favor over UNLV. I think now at this point it's more them thinking about UNLV's helmet instead of the players that they have, and and their past history of not being really a football school. UNLV lost to Kansas last year at the end of the year in the Guaranteed Bowl. They lost to them 49-36. High scoring, fun game. I think we'll see a little bit more of that tonight, but I think the UNLV defense and Barry Odom make a statement tonight and show that they're the real deal. Remember, they beat the hell out of the University of Houston, and we saw that Houston was not a bad team. As the next week they go to Oklahoma and really play good in the trenches. So don't sleep on UNLV. I think De Jesus has a big night tonight. So I gave you guys 3 for free. That's going to be Arizona +7.5 at Kansas State, UNLV +9 tonight at Kansas, and then last but not least, I'm a Tomlin truther. The Steelers, man, money line. I think Bo Nix does not have a chance in hell to beat the Steelers defense. So that's a 10% play for me on the Steelers. Money line -140.
Sino, what do you got for us?
Gee, we're going to keep it simple. We're going to put the horns on the front of the back and roll with the great state of Texas. Both of the home teams, we're going to do Dallas money line. Cowboys, and we're gonna do a Houston Texas money line. That should come out to -120, and for me, that's gonna be a 3-unit play. Both of these teams should blow them out. Again, no spreads. We're just gonna keep it simple. We're gonna take the one with both of these guys, and I'm gonna call this one the Yippee Ki special.
All right. I hate to do this, but I like to fade back quarterbacks. 5-star already grabbed that Steelers play. Not that I think the Bo Nix is bad. He's just young. But a quarterback who's also playing at that really low level right now is Deshaun Watson. I know people do love that Cleveland Browns defense, but I think the Jacksonville Jaguars get back here. They know they had a great chance to make a statement last week. Travis Etienne doesn't make that fumble. I think we have a different game there. Jacksonville's 1-0, but now they are 0-1. They're going to be looking to get back. I did like some of the things I saw from that offense last week. A little disappointed they got shut out at the second half, but they have a great chance to bounce back here. But at the end of the day, man, I don't think Deshaun Watson should be playing. I can't wait till Jameis Winston gets out there. I think that's going to revitalize that whole franchise because say what you want about Jameis, he is a popular guy, and I think that's the exact opposite of what they got now. So hopefully the Jacksonville Jaguars will hasten that quarterback change there by covering the spread of -3 at home against the Cleveland Browns.
Speaking of Jameis Winston, yesterday I was watching Gerald McCoy. He was on Deshaun Jackson.
Oh, I saw that. I didn't watch it though. What'd he say?
About at the moment, because Gerald McCoy and Deshaun Jackson were like standing right by Jameis Winston when he does the famous eating the W's thing.
Yeah.
Eat his biggest. They was looking like, what? And Gerald McCoy was like, I was like, what the hell is he doing? And he said, the tight end Cameron Brate was like, hey man, that's our quarterback. And he was like, I don't give a damn. What the hell is he doing? And he said, I knew at that point that we were gonna lose. He said we got beat. And he said he was getting even weirder. We came out at halftime and he said, this is one of those times you just gotta pull out your meat to see who's the biggest.
Man, no. Man.
So Jameis Winston is a crazy dude, man.
No,
all right, man. We appreciate you guys for tuning in to the Wagering World. This is episode 11. Before we know it, you'll be in the middle of the season, man. Football goes so fast as we enjoy it, man. Hit that like button if you guys are tuned in right now. Last show I saw we had about 200 views. We had 24 likes. Come on, guys. Come on, if you're watching the show, don't be a hater, man. Watch the show, man. It's free to hit the like button, man. It doesn't cost you anything. The same way that you turn on the show, the same way you can hit the like button. Do that for us, man. We spend our time away from our families, from our work, from what we do to come in and give you guys this information. You are the Wagering World. It's us versus the machine. Hey, help us out the way we help you. Anything for the people spread before we get out of here?
Man, I'm excited for this weekend. I can't wait to see these two plays kick off tonight.
What about you, Sino?
Same, man. I'm excited, man. Let's try to get a sweep. And it's not hard to hit that bell notification. Hit the like button, subscribe like 5-star says. Share with your friends, man. We fresh off the ground. We doing it for the underground and the underdogs.
That's right, baby. At all time, as always, I dedicate this show to the greatest Houston sports fan I know, and that's my father, John H. Lindsay. I do this for you, Dad. We'll see you guys on Monday.